In the scorching summer of 1176, as the legendary Saladin campaigned near Aleppo, a new leader emerged in the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Baldwin IV, a young king afflicted by leprosy, took full control of his kingdom. Unlike his cautious predecessors, Baldwin refused to bow to Saladin's rising power. His reign would be marked by bold military campaigns, strategic alliances, and an unbreakable will. This is the tale of Baldwin IV, the Leper King who defied fate and fought against one of history's greatest conquerors. Baldwin IV takes the fight to Saladin. Baldwin's first act as king was to break the truce with Saladin. Knowing that inaction would only allow his enemy to grow stronger, he gathered his army and launched raids into Saladin's territory near Damascus. To strengthen his rule, he appointed his uncle, Jocelyn of Courtenay, as seneschal, ensuring he had a loyal and capable advisor. These actions forced Saladin to halt his conquests in Syria and turn his attention elsewhere. The Battle of Baalbek and Saladin's assassin problem. In August 1176, Baldwin IV led his forces against Saladin's nephew, Turan Shah, near Baalbek. The young king, though afflicted by disease, fought bravely alongside his knights, securing a decisive victory. Meanwhile, Saladin faced a crisis of his own, an assassination attempt by his own Mamluks, believed to be infiltrated by the Hashashin, the feared order of assassins. In retaliation, Saladin marched against them, seeking to eradicate their influence. The arrival of reinforcements and a new strategy. As Baldwin strengthened his kingdom, Count Philip of Flanders arrived with a crusading army. Though Baldwin hoped Philip would take command of Jerusalem, the Count refused, choosing instead to fight in Syria. Disappointed but undeterred, Baldwin focused on cutting off Saladin's supply lines. He granted Renaud of Chatillon control over the crucial fortress of Karak, allowing him to harass enemy caravans between Egypt and Syria. Saladin, enraged, struggled to maintain his empire's cohesion. The Battle of Montgisard, Baldwin's greatest victory. The year was 1177. Saladin, the mighty Sultan of Egypt and Syria, launched a massive invasion of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. With nearly 26,000 soldiers, Saladin's forces vastly outnumbered the Crusaders. His army swept across the Holy Land, capturing towns and fortifications with little resistance. Their objective was clear: to strike at Jerusalem itself, the heart of Christendom in the east. But Baldwin IV, though weakened by leprosy, refused to stand idly by. At just 16 years old, he was already proving himself to be a warrior king. With an army of only 4,500 men, including the Templar Knights led by Odo of St. Amand, Baldwin made a daring move. He marched day and night to intercept Saladin's forces near Montgisard, just west of Ramla. The moment of reckoning. As the Crusaders approached, they saw the dust of Saladin's vast army in the distance. Saladin's forces, overconfident from their recent victories, were unprepared for battle. Many of his men had removed their armor due to the sweltering heat, while others were scattered in foraging parties. The timing was perfect for an attack. Baldwin, despite his frail body, mounted his horse, his royal banner flying high. His men gathered around him, their morale boosted by their young king's presence. The Bishop of Bethlehem held a relic of the true cross, raising it high as the Crusader knights drew their swords and prepared for the charge. The thunderous charge. Then, with a deafening roar, Baldwin IV led his knights straight into the heart of Saladin's army. The Templars crashed into the enemy lines like an unstoppable wave, cutting down unprepared soldiers. Baldwin, despite his illness, fought among them, his sword flashing in the sunlight. The attack was so sudden and fierce that Saladin's army fell into chaos. His soldiers, caught off guard, had little time to react. The Crusaders pressed on, cutting through the enemy ranks with sheer determination and relentless force. Saladin, realizing the battle was turning against him, attempted to regroup his forces, but Baldwin's army was relentless. The Crusaders pushed forward, forcing the Muslim forces to retreat toward the swamps of the Nile. With his army scattered and broken, Saladin barely managed to escape with his life, fleeing with a small band of bodyguards. Aftermath. A victory against the odds. The Battle of Montgisard was one of the most stunning victories in Crusader history. Against all odds, Baldwin IV had defeated one of the greatest generals of the medieval era. The young king, ravaged by disease yet unyielding in spirit, had secured his place in history. Saladin would never forget this humiliating defeat. Though he would return stronger in the years to come, this battle proved that Baldwin IV was no ordinary ruler. He was a warrior king, a true defender of Jerusalem. The rise of Saladin and Baldwin's failing health. Despite his defeat, Saladin was not a man to be easily broken. He rebuilt his forces, launching counterattacks and raiding Christian territories. Baldwin, now severely weakened, took measures to secure his kingdom's future. He ordered the construction of a powerful new fortress at Jacob's Ford, but before it could be completed, Saladin attacked, reducing it to ruins. The tide was beginning to turn. Conclusion: the last stand of the Leper King. Baldwin IV defied all expectations. Despite his disease, he led his men with courage, intelligence, and unwavering faith. But time was against him. As his body weakened, Saladin grew stronger. The final confrontation between the Kingdom of Jerusalem and the Ayyubid Sultanate was inevitable. Baldwin's reign was one of defiance and resilience, but his kingdom would soon face its greatest trial yet. What did you think? Answers in the comments below. 1. If Baldwin IV had lived longer, do you think he could have permanently stopped Saladin's rise? Why or why not? 2. What was the most surprising fact you learned about Baldwin IV in this video? 3. If you could ask Baldwin IV one question about his life and struggles, what would it be? Baldwin IV's story is one of resilience, strategy, and unbreakable spirit in the face of impossible odds. What do you think about his legacy? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Kingdom Tales, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our next historical journey. More epic stories from the past are coming your way. Stay tuned.